Flo here, and I'm so excited to share with you how I achieved this super easy perm rod set on my TWA. As some of you who've been following my channel know, I recently got my, well, it's not so recent anymore, but I got my big chop at the end of August. So I have been growing out my hair for about 8 months or so now. I'll put the exact amount because I can't do math. And I'm so happy to share that finally my hair is at a length where I can add perm rods to it. In my last video I showed you how I did a twist out. Now I've kind of upgraded myself a little bit to perm rod sets. And I'm really happy with how they turned out. So of course I had to share with you how I did them myself. Now I know what you're thinking, rod sets are literally the most difficult style, well not the most difficult, but one of the most difficult styles to achieve while going natural. And honestly, it took me a few tries, but once you get it down packed, it really is super easy. Very long, the process does take very long, but it's not that difficult. If you put on a good podcast, put on some music, you know, you can bang that thing out in about 7 or 8 hours. I'm kidding, it's not 7 or 8 hours, more like 2. Before we continue, I'm going to give you a moment so that you can hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications so you know when my next video is live. Alright, so without further ado, let's get into it. Here I am with freshly co-washed and detangled hair. I'm going to give you a quick length check. This is after 8 months post big chop. Now the first product I used was the Cantu Shea Butter Leave-In Conditioning Repair Cream. So I used that while I was detangling my hair, so it's already in my hair. So right now what I'm going to do is section my hair off because this just makes it so much easier when putting in the perm rods. Here's my hair all sectioned off. I didn't make them too particularly neat because that doesn't really matter. And the products that I'm going to be using for styling are the Aunt Jackie's Curl Maintenance Defining Curl Whip. I love this because it adds so much moisture to my hair. And then I also use the Aunt Jackie's Don't Shrink Flaxseed Elongating Curling Gel because that gives it a nice hold and makes sure that my curls stay for more than just one day. Now I'm just going to detangle my hair a little bit more before I start to put the perm rods on. I do this because the smoother your hair is while on the perm rods, the nicer the curl afterwards. So I'm going to make smaller sections just so it's easier and it helps my hair dry a lot quicker. Then I'm going to add the styling product. First I'm going to add the Curl Maintenance Cream and then I'm adding on the Flaxseed Gel. Then I'm just going to comb in each of these products so it seeps through the entire section, and then I'm going to add the perm rod to the end. So I like to do it from the ends, roll it up so that the ends of the hair are completely covered, and then swirl it around and rotate it closer to my head so it's nice and tight. Now this part gets a little tricky because your hands are super wet and sticky and it always takes me a few tries to snap it in, but there you go. So I'm going to show you this a few more times just so you can get the hang of it. So I'm adding in the Curl Maintenance Cream, then the gel, and now I'm swirling the ends, making sure the ends are completely covered, wrapped around each other, or wrapped around itself. This just creates a nice, smooth, and consistent spiral once you take your perm rods out. Then I just swirl it around one time and twirl it tightly to my head. Now when I get to the sides of my hair, you're going to see that I am not leaving the perm rods horizontally anymore. I'm doing them in a more vertical way, and my reason for this is because I like to, it helps me to stretch the curl a bit, and again it doesn't make it look like a typical roller set. So you can do it all horizontal, but I like to switch it up a little bit. This just gives my hair a bit more dimension, and also it enhances that tapered look that I have that's kind of growing out now, but it helps to style it a bit better once your hair is all dry. after a few hours of doing my entire head. Perm rod sets to me aren't too difficult these days, but they are extremely time consuming. So that's one thing that I actually don't like about them, and that's why I don't do them too often. But when I do, I know that I need to carve out at least a few hours of the day just to account for any trial and error, you know, maybe running out of some perm rods. Fortunately, at this point, I have a ton, but it does take a really, really long time. So I'm not even going to sugarcoat that. Generally, I'd let my hair air dry for a few hours and take these out the next morning, but I actually needed them to dry a bit faster this time, so I sat under the dryer for about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, to let these get fully dry. And for the most part, my entire head was completely dry, which is amazing. There was, I think, one curl that ended up not being too dry, but it was fine because it blended in with the rest. So I'm gonna just unravel each and every perm rod in the way that the curl is formed. This is very important. And once I do that, I'm going to use the Innersense Harmonic Healing Oil. And this oil is helpful for 2 reasons. I like to apply it to my scalp just so I can get a nice moisturized scalp. And then after that, I'm going to apply it to all of the curls and use the oil on my fingers to separate each of the curls. This helps to minimize frizz and still maintain each of the coils. So my video right now is on fast forward, but I do want to say that I like to separate my curls very, very slowly. Reason being because I don't, again, want it to get too frizzy, but I take my time separating each of the curls, rubbing through each of them with the oil just to keep them from frizzing up and also maintaining the shape. And I do this for each and every single curl that was in a perm rod. And I just go around my head until they're all separated. Once I'm done separating, that's when I'm going to fluff my hair out so that it doesn't look like I'm going to church. And I'm going to use a fro pick and just pull the hair from the root. I'm not going to use the pick through the entire curl. I'm just going to go bring the pick to the root and then lightly lift it up. And I like to pull out the sides. The middle, I usually like for the top middle of my hair to be higher than the sides because obviously, as I mentioned before, I like to keep that nice tapered shape. At this point, since it's been about 8 months since my big chop, my hair is starting to grow out and it's growing out nicely, but I've noticed that the sides are a lot longer than the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pin my sides up just so I can kind of maintain a nice shape. I didn't really feel like leaving all the curls down gave it enough dimension, and also I don't really do that many styles to my hair, so I thought that this would be really nice and help me kind of switch things up a bit.
So I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, please be sure to subscribe, turn on your notifications so you'll know my next video goes live. And if you have any questions, concerns, ideas for my next video, please be sure to leave them in the comments. I absolutely love hearing from you all and would love your suggestions. Until next time.
For more beauty tips, visit aishabeau.com.